bring the full Committee of Privileges and Elections to a start. We'll begin by bringing up the roll to mark your presence. It's not. I'm here, but
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. My pad's not working. Okay, I am present. Everybody else is working. All right, we can close the roll. Delegate Krizek? Okay. We're going to go at ease for a moment. We have a special guest with us today. We have Mr. Chris Solden. He'll be our IT clerk with us today. So thank you for visiting. He's from Appropriations, so we want to be friendly with him. All right, thank you. We're going to take things up out of order. We have Delegate Batten with us, so we're going to start with Block 2 with House Bill 1910.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. I bring before you today House Bill 1910. Just briefly, House Bill 1910 probably looks familiar to you. I know a few of you have seen this before, as I have carried it in previous years. There are just a few components to this bill. It requires organizations that are sending unsolicited absentee ballot applications to provide information on how to complete and submit the application to the appropriate registrar. It requires these organizations to send forms only to registered voters who have not already requested an application, and it prohibits the organizations from pre-filling the forms with the voters' information. It also requires that on the envelope where the application is, there needs to be a statement indicating that the application is not being sent by any state or local government official or agency. This bill is at the request of the registrars, and I am happy to take any questions.
Right. I'll take testimony from the public first. Do we have folks in the audience that wish to speak in favor of the bill?
Madam Chair, David Bailey, members of the committee. I'm representing the Voter Registrars Association of Virginia, who very much appreciate Delegate Batten bringing this bill before you. It is, as you have seen, it's not a prohibition bill. It's a bill with guardrails that does some protection. And I have heard, as many of you have, about the growing number of people who are on the permanent absentee request list, then it makes this bill even more important in a way than it was one of the previous years when the delegate introduced it. But I think that the voter registrars have sent you some of their talking points, so I'm not going to go over all of those, but appreciate your support of the bill.
Madam Chair, can I ask him a question?
Delegate Sickles?
Yeah. Could you just tell us the major improvement that this bill will provide for the registrars, just in simple terms?
It will keep down the confusion from voters saying, I've already received my absentee ballot. And they think the ballot that they've received from a third-party group is their absentee ballot.
Excuse me, Madam Chairman.
Delegate Sickles.
So sometimes they think that's just the application they're getting, but they think it's the absentee ballot itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to add one more thing to that as well. I know my local registrar has had a problem where voters are receiving multiple of these applications, and they keep filling them out and sending them back in. And so my registrar will have, maybe 10 applications from one voter. Obviously, they only get one ballot, but it creates a lot of extra work for that registrar, who then has to go through and deduplicate things.
Is there anyone else in the audience in favor of the bill? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in opposition of the bill? Okay, we have some folks that are online. If we could bring in Anne Gregorian.
She's muted.
Okay, Anne, you are muted.
Yes, hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm in support of this bill for the reasons that they said about the registrars is one, but also I spent a lot of time in the polls. Elderly voters who get notifications from elect are very concerned. Those precinct notices that went out, I don't know how many people brought them and said, do we need these to vote? So these applications that are being sent out in 2020, the Virginia Pilot Headlight said outside groups sending absentee ballot applications causes confusion and concern for voters. That was an error by a third party. In processing these, they put in the incorrect address and returned them to registrars that weren't in the correct precinct. The registrars had to do the extra work to get those applications to the correct precinct or the correct registrar. So I fully support this bill, and I thank Delegate Batten for bringing it forward.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions? Okay, we work by motions.
Move to report.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to report House Bill 1910. Right. Delegate Batten, House Bill 1910 has reported 20-0. Thank you. Right. Delegate Head, we'll move on to the report from Subcommittee 1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee has two bills to report to you this morning. I start with House Bill 1693, patroned by Delegate McGuire. This is dealing with the ballot drop-off locations and the drop boxes. The thought being that because this was a program that was established for the unique circumstance of the pandemic, that since we are largely past that and everyone has learned to begin to move back into something of a more normal, albeit rewritten future, that there was no more need for this section, and this bill simply repeals that section of the code. And the subcommittee recommended reporting on a vote of 6-4, and I would so move.
Okay. I know you had extensive testimony in the subcommittee. Do we have questions from the full committee regarding House Bill 1693? Okay. We're not going to take public testimony. We have a motion to move House Bill 1693. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll. House Bill 1693 reports 11-8. Delegate Head.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also had before us House Bill 1877, patroned by Delegate Scott. This is taking the absentee voting that was extended to 45 days and returns that back to a 14-day time period for absentee voting. It also does require the voting in person to be Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday, or the 2 Saturdays before the election. So that would be Monday through Saturday, since it's the 14 days prior to the election. The bill as introduced had those hours set from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but in the substitute, it removed that requirement and went back to the hours that the registrar's office was open, as is currently in code. And the subcommittee recommended the reporting with the substitute by a vote of 6-4, and I would so move.
Delegate Head, can you tell me the hours? And I think we need to adopt the substitute. And then what are those hours that the registrars requested?
The hours now are 8 to 5, and that is what's currently in code.
Okay, let's adopt the substitute. I need a motion to adopt the substitute.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? No. All right, the substitute is before us.
And again, Madam Chair, the subcommittee recommended reporting the substitute with a vote of 6-4, and again, I would so move.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Do we have any questions from the committee on House Bill 1877?
I'd like to speak to the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
This is like the last bill. This is unneeded and reduces access to the ballot for people. Under federal law, we have to have the ballot ready for military and overseas people 45 days out. That's why we have the early voting period that long. Jurisdictions do not have to keep an absentee satellite stations open for 45 days. They can decide how many days they want to keep it open. They're going to keep, and they do keep it open the 2 Saturdays before. And if somebody wants to drive to the registrar's office to vote, I think we should give them that option because they may be gone for a long time. And this is just completely unnecessary, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion and a second to report the substitute House Bill 1877. Let's call the roll. All right. House Bill 1877 reports 11-9.
Madam Chair, that completes my report.